German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and his Conservative rival Friedrich Merz have faced off in a grilling of a live televised debate. It comes 2 weeks ahead of a general election. Merz, the leader of the Christian Democrats, is the favourite to become the next Chancellor. His Conservative alliance is ahead in the polls with around 30%. The debate covered a wide range of topics, including curbing irregular migration, reviving industry, budget issues and foreign policy. Let's hear what the two leaders had to say on some of those topics.
We do have challenges when the global economy weakens. But I would like to make one comment at this point. To everyone, I did not invade Ukraine. I did not stop the gas deliveries. I'm not the reason that we're in this economic situation. That was Putin. And you shouldn't use the consequences of his actions to criticize the government.
It's not that the government hasn't done anything. It has done a little.
Thanks for that. That's generous.
Well, it's not generous. I see it as it is, not as it is sometimes exaggerated. Mr. Scholz, we still have as many migrants arriving in 4 days as are deported in a month. That's still too many. Last year, we had 240,000.
With me in the studio is our chief political editor, Michaela Küfner, who won the debate.
Well, like in the Super Bowl, there is a clear winner. I'd say that Friedrich Merz won this debate. Olaf Scholz was very much on the defensive, not just because he's the incumbent, but also he didn't use the big opportunity he had, which he actually used in recent days, which is to throw doubt on Friedrich Merz over the potential cooperation with the far-right Alternative for Germany party. That is what Olaf Scholz alleges, and that is what Friedrich Merz keeps completely ruling out. But just a couple of days ago, he voted in Parliament with help from the far-right AfD to gain a majority for the very first time. That's a historical red line that he crossed. And this is clearly the election theme of Olaf Scholz, how he wants to sow doubts on where Friedrich Merz stands. He didn't really get much of a chance to score on that. Instead, he ended up being very much on the defensive on that very contentious issue of migration here in Germany.
Which took up most of the debate, that topic. Who feels safer then when it comes to security, a better future when it comes to migration, under Olaf Scholz or under Friedrich Merz?
Well, if you look at the polling, and that was the big surprise of the week, that nothing really changed after what happened in German parliament, that both are still rock solid. Friedrich Merz at 30%, his CDU-CSU, Olaf Scholz, the Social Democrats at 15%. So he needs something like a political miracle to get anywhere near the chance of getting re-elected. And this was really something where, when you look at the detailed polling, the vast majority of Germans sees the competency when it comes to the economy with the Conservatives rather than the Social Democrats. On migration as well, there are more people polled who believe that the Conservative CDU-CSU can steer migration better than the Social Democrats. And this is a dynamic that shows what Olaf Scholz is up against. He is on the defensive on that very key issues. That is number 1 and 2, the top issues that German voters are concerned about. At the same time, pollsters are telling us that up to 2/3 are potentially still undecided.
And what about people's feelings going ahead when it comes to the economy? Are people going to be better off, do they think, under Merz or under Scholz?
Well, this comes back to the competency question. Olaf Scholz is countering this kind of bonus that Friedrich Merz has on competency when it comes to the economy by saying, look, he's going to set Ukraine spending against social spending, against investment here in Germany. And this zeroes in very much on Germany's black zero and what that's in the constitution, that Germany cannot take on yet more debt. That has been maxed out by the previous budget already. And here I think we saw a bit that there will potentially be quite a bit of movement. It's almost an open secret that Friedrich Merz would essentially potentially also be looking at reforming the constitutional provision of the debt ceiling here in Germany. And that's what Olaf Scholz really wanted to extract out of him. But he failed to do that even on the issue of defense spending, where Olaf Scholz says, well, look, we're struggling to meet the 2%. And Friedrich Merz is saying, well, it will have to be more, but he doesn't say exactly how much.
What could it mean for Ukraine at the end of the day when it comes to defense spending in Germany?
Well, look, the interesting thing is that Olaf Scholz has much more cautious rhetoric when it comes to Ukraine. And at the same time, he's the Chancellor of the Zeitenwende, 100 billion extra on defense here in Germany and leading Germany to become the second largest supporter of Ukraine after the United States. Now, Friedrich Merz has committed that he will continue to do that. He's been more, at times, less vocal about commitment towards Ukraine when it comes to the cruise missile system, this Taurus system. He's gone, there were some nuances in that, and Olaf Scholz tried to call him out on that. If anything, both are clearly looking at what the first step of Donald Trump will be on Ukraine. And this is a completely open question. So this really won't be solved in these elections unless, of course, we see some kind of sweeping statement from the US President Trump come out on Ukraine.
Michaela Küfner, thank you very much for your analysis.